Oh, hey! Oh! Hello, ESA!
次のゲーム、司会進行変わりまして不相です。よろしくお願いします。で、次のゲーム、今から始まるゲームなんですけれども、ファミコンウォーズ DS 失われた光ということで、こちらに関しては解説の方いらっしゃいません。ご存知の方がいらっしゃれば、簡単にゲームの知識があるという方でも構いませんので、解説、コメントか解説でしたり、ディスコードの解説の方を応募していただければいいかなと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。はい。ということでですね、ファミコンウォーズ DS 失われた光、日本に発売タイトルらしいんです。ただ、日本で発売しなかった配信はされたらしいという情報はあるんですけれども、一体どうなってるのか、ちょっとあんまり詳しいことはわかんないですね。で、始まりましたね。これ。
You've got tanks that can attack at close range. Say this tank is going to deal
クラブ任天堂でもらえるゲームだったらしいんですけれども、今ね、もうサイト確認しようとしても、クラブ任天堂のサイトが跡地になってて確認できませんでした。
And the mech gun here is an indirect attack, so it can fire if it doesn't move, but if it moves, I cannot fire it anymore.
で、タイマーが動いてないんだけれども、画面は動いてるな。
You either cap the HQ of the opponent, which is this structure right there, or you destroy everything the enemy has to, all the other units. In order to capture, I can put an infantry, a mech, or a motorbike, and
そう、今聞いてますけど、説明ですね。
So 20 HP for the building, 10 HP, you get it. So if you lose HP, you lose ways to capture. So that's for ground units. You've got also air units. We'll have time to talk about it. And
I will talk about it
一応
whenever we get to the respective missions.
参考のサイトが存在はしているので、参考のサイトを手元で見るんですけれども、流星群の落下後の崩壊後の世界にて主人公のエドを中心とした独立中隊の活躍を追うストーリー。
Yep,
って書いてあります。
countdown?
Yeah, sure. I can count down.
ちなみにIGN って2008年度ベストオンラインマルチプレイヤーゲームとしても表彰されているみたいです。はい、始まりました。
Anyways, so the first mission.
タイマーがスタックしてますけれども、始まっているので進めます。動きましたね。一番最初チュートリアルですね、これ。
There's different grounds that certain movies can only walk once or twice through that, or like every unit has basically a specific cost. And as you can see, first mission is really fast done.
ストーリー自体は、
so this will be like a little bit quick, because
どうやら全4部で構成されているらしいですね。
The movement that you have to do, because there's like legit no downtime during the entire run, except for the enemy phases that we have. Here we will learn about the artillery, the tanks.
シンプルな選択だけど、シンプルだからこそ操作精度の速さだったり、動きだったり、どういうところでアタックっていう、どういうところで攻めたり動かすのかっていうのは、かなり綿密にチャートをして練ってるんでしょうね。うまいですね。入手性は本当に悪いかな。戦士のこれ全部倒すんですか？イントデータとか見れますよっていうやつだけれども。で、ここには相手本部はなくてビークルと地上イント。なるほど。歩兵、車両、戦車、地上ユニットがある。なるほど。ありがとうございます。山岳地形とかの地形補正とかあるってことです。もう、ストーリーなので、もう決め打ちでやるっていう感じですよね。ある意味ではもう完全にパズルというか手順通りに解いているぐらいの感じなのかな。
So this is the first fog of war map. As you can see, like every unit
has like deploying on mountains again. 視界制限のところでもわずか変の 場合だと視界が拡張されるとかうんぬんっていう感じかな。索敵してやれっていうマップですね。
What we're trying to do is we're trying to hide our units into the forest tiles or like this little grass tiles and try to let them run into us. It is a little bit faster
まあ
to do that.
RTA なんで場所は分かってるので
Usually the attack first.
サクサクと潰していくっていう感じですね。
And yeah, so the fifth map, it is the first map where we get introduced to
どれぐらい固定化によるかな。キャプチャリングベース。
units. At the beginning, we
拠点を確保するみたいなギミックに関する説明ですかね。
into the game. Also, as you may have noticed, the enemy has quite a lot more units than we have, and actually we really don't care.
で、確保した拠点で回復することができるぞとかっていう説明がありますが、
And what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up all of the units like that every unit moves to
順々に潰されていますが、目的さえ達成できれば構いませんのパターンですね。
attack the bike. And why that is, I will also like explain a little bit later. But essentially, what we're just trying to do is we just avoid pretty much
で、
combat.
バイクで目標地点まで行って、首都を占領かけたら終わったって感じですかね。
Yeah, somehow we still got an S rank even though we didn't fight that much.
And didn't even capture the factory yet.
だって前線は全部やられましたけれど
So
も、
this is one of the
クリア目標は達成したので問題ありませんと。
was actually introduced. If you're like familiar with the first 3 games, which are basically just built on the similar engine, Advanced Wars War is
ははは
vastly different when it comes to like
なるほど。遠距離攻撃者できないユニッ
everything.
トが、まあ、空いてるから、移動力の高いバイクへ突っ込んで、サクッと制圧がかけてしまうっていう感じですかね。
So this specific mission does include 2 waves. So
ちゃんとやんなきゃいけないミッションだと、順番だとか、どういうところで占領したり、倒したりとかっていうのが、
those are usually not that strong of units, but at the second wave there will be
っていうのを
more
割
units.
と、
A heavy tank and 2
戦
medium.
闘アニメがあるけれど、戦闘アニメカットされるからやっぱ分かんないですね。
What we have right now because we
サクサク
cannot
爆発してる。
yet because we don't have the resources in story. So what we're
生産も必要な分とか分かってるからめちゃくちゃ早いですよ、これ。
artillery at this point are very good. They
まあ
pretty
この
much
ペースでやっても1時間かかるって考えると、多分後半ステージとか結構厄介なんかなっていう。
So there should be a third artillery coming up, and after that we're trying to just protect the artilleries on the top left, so we can destroy the heavy tank and the medium tank.
It kind of showcases what you would expect from a PvP match where with the optimal strategy versus the less optimal strategy. So artilleries are
今のも
very good in PvP.
謎の動きに見えて、そこに持ってくると敵の場所がちゃんとこう動いてくるとかって決まってるんでしょうね。
Yeah, the thing is, like, every unit is also basically a wall because it acts as a meat shield. Like, enemies units
い
cannot
や
pass.
固めて方向からいろいろ叩く方が強いんですかね。
Tries to fly over it. That doesn't work, which is actually pretty good because otherwise, like, air units would be incredibly strong. So this is the
僕はもうファミコンをそうやったことがないんで、
our anti-artillery and the enemies are
詳しいところはね、
somewhat
コメントを皆様に助けてもらえると助かります。コメントを皆様の方が多分詳しいと思うんで、
basically like a ranged rocket.
航空機が出てきましたね。
Artillery. The problem with those missiles specifically, they're not that great unless like you set it up specifically. Luckily, in the beginning again of the game, they just run into you and you can just shoot them down.
まあ、見た目で若干わかりやすい
Of。course, the anti-air, as the name suggests, it is a good unit against any kind of air units, and also infantry
空
units.
対空とかもありますが、これはなんかあれかな
And also recons and a little bit. So
先
here
進ん
we
じゃえばいいのかな
capture the HQ. Again, it's faster than routing, and there is a save that he has to do.
セーフティーセーブかな。
He has to get. So unlike Fire Emblem, which is also made by the same company,
いましたね。今 HQ の占領っていう話をしてたから、
from the get-go, it really changes on every frame where you in the attack menu or whenever you.
ある程度削ってしまえれば大丈夫っていう扱いなんですかね。あ、クリアしましたね。
Changes in the menu.
さっきのリロードは、もしかしたら削りきれなくて、戦闘機能力が削りきれなくて、ダメージバイクが爆散してしまうとか、そんな感じなんですかね。
Anyways, we don't talk about the RNG manipulation anymore because, again, that is not a topic that we can do. It counts for pretty much every Advance Wars game at this point. which you
手のゲームはあんまりやってこなかったからな。
do some improvising in the later missions.
大戦略とはちょっと昔やってましたけど
When we
ね
get。to there, I will talk a little bit about it. So in this mission,
あー、なるほど。
war mission, that one is a little bit cheesy because there's also like those fire tiles which lights up the area for you and the enemy.
まあ、単純に一旦かかると1日分伸びるから、まあ、敵定番が1個伸びると時間かかりますもんね。
We don't really care too much because the enemy space is not really defended that well. And what we're doing here is there's a tank that wanted to go up, and we are blocked with our copter, so he cannot just go back and attack our transport copters.
で、これは
Transport copters and the helicopter, we unload
飛行機でカバーして占領かけると。
so that, as you can see, goes.
ブロックの使い方がうまいですね。
Okay, so this is the very first mission which looks
Stop it.
really intimidating because the opponent has like quite a lot of like really strong units. You don't really have to worry too much.
川を挟んで割と航空機でなんとかしてくださいみたいなところが。
Destroy pretty much like anything that is anti-air related, because you have a couple of
そ
air
こにある
units,
のはアムトラックかなんかか
and
な。
we essentially try to destroy any anti-air unit, and I think a couple of copters as well, maybe one or two, and of course like the tanks that is guarding the HQ. And luckily we have a couple of bombers available to us, so like the tank that is actually like protecting the HQ will not be that big of a deal. There's
でも
also an anti-air, but we will quickly take care of
ピン
that.
ポイントで HQ を占領するやつをやりに行ってますね。
Are like relatively cost efficient when it comes against air units. I think
まあ RTA だからね、どれだけこちらに被害が出ようとも最終的に目標を達成できればいいですっていう。
yeah, so
早く終わればいいですっていう。
so again we're setting up the meat shield with our interceptors, with our bombers, and then we just capture the HQ. And as you can see, like all of the units are moving upwards, but we really don't.
で、輸送から持ってきて、航空機でカバーして歩兵を守って HQ 占領ですかね。
Relatively properly, I would say. But it can take quite a long time. But again, since we can capture the HQ, everything is just fine.
Chapter 10 is probably like
あー、なるほど。攻撃が必ず先手なんですね
the。one I usually reset the most, so hopefully it's going to work out pretty well.
Okay, so essentially like the strategy is again, we're trying to capture the HQ because routing this map is relatively slow. Because there is a factory at the right side of the map which we can't really do anything about it. And what we
で、
essentially
まあ
trying to do is there is
同じ合流ユニットを合流して体力を足し合わせたりできるっていうことは、まあ、招待の再編成みたいなのができるってことなんです
all
ね。
of them, if possible, except for the
地上ユニットでしか組めない、そういや、ハーツ・オブ・アイアンもやってたんでした。ハーツ・オブ・アイアンで司令部で走ってるのをちょっと思い出しましたね。
we're setting up a small wall.
プロビンスが占領できないのを走ってくるみたいな。
Bottom right. There can something
最後マジで遠いアラスカとかを走り回った記憶ありますけど。
usually for the first couple of turns it's pretty much scripted, except for the attacks that you have to do.
地上ユニットというか歩兵とかで占領できないんじゃなかったら、ちょっと本当にこう存在意義とはみたいな気持ちになってくるから。
At the end, we'll see if that works out.
Yeah, so we did destroy the interceptor, which is really important because again we have copters and an interceptor and also a transport copter. Okay. So this is a damage roll that we
さて、輸送肥料を動かしてからセーブかけましたが、
If it works out, we'll see. Okay, that's good.
Okay, very good. So what can happen here is it can happen that there is like a cluster of enemies stacking up on the bottom right, and if that happens, you cannot put your meat shield up, and yeah, you will essentially be unable to capture. Yeah, sometimes like you have to save in order to get a good damage roll. Sometimes you have to get the right build order. It is
これ最悪やられる可能性があったのかな。
again, you cannot manipulate that.
もう生産とかっていう話を全然してないです
We
ね。
didn't get that. It luckily also doesn't waste that much time.
必要な分で占領分やったらあとは肉壁で耐えるスタイルですね。
How the movement goes, and if you forgot to save and you do like one little wrong movement, which
う
is
ん、今の感じだと輸送ヘリがギリギリになるから途中で輸送ヘリがダメージ受けて殴られたらその時点でダメな可能性がありましたね。
any movement that you do is super important, especially like for those turns where it's essentially scripted. Okay, so
また川マップか。
tutorial for the naval units. Naval units in Advanced Wars are usually really bad, or or like very cost inefficient.
海か。なるほ
And
ど。
in Dark Conflict, they
揚
kind
陸
of
艇
made
でしたね。
a lot of changes to it. First of all, we have those little boats that are essentially like transporters, but they can attack once and they can only transport units
普通に
max 5
遠距離が撃ってくるな。
basically infantry at this point. And we
とりあえず、まあ、
transporter that can
本部再占領的には問題ありませんの。
and also tanks. And there's also a cruiser, which is essentially an anti-air, anti-cruiser, which also recently got, which in that case also got
はいはい。
buffed.
占領のルール書いてくれてる人がいま
A
す
little
ね。
bit stronger against naval units.
20溜まれば占領でき
Can
て、
do
まあ
that now.
体力、
And
だから体力依存でするから、
pretty much get one of the best units in the
20
entire
のゲージを読めるために、まあ、体力減ってたら3ターンかかるけれども、
So
2ターンあれば
battleships
確実に取れるってことですね。
longer
ありがとうご
range
ざいます。
or
だ
like
から、
were
これはちゃんと
longer
ダメージを
range
もらわないようにしないといけないんだ。
only usable in naval. And usually, artilleries and rockets and those
多
long
分
range
戦
units
闘アニメーション RTA だから切ってるとかじゃないかな。
Battleships, however, can do that, and they also deal quite a lot of damage, and that's why we do try to get out of the range of the battleship, because they do have like a considerable amount of movement for it, and
That's the range.
that's really huge. So we try to have avoid
戦
those
艦がある。
and we try to attack them with subs, which is also a unit that got introduced in this map. Submarines.
クロールザーとかで分けてあるから、やっぱ巡洋艦とかで分けてあるんだね。
Also have an additional effect that you can dive and then your unit will not be visible for the enemy. And unlike the previous games, or at least like unlike the very first game, the AI cannot really cheat. So if a submarine is submerged, like it is not visible for them at all, which can be utilized in. It's also utilized in this round, if I recall correctly. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So again, we take quick work of the enemies.
クリアしましたね。
and
戦艦。
yeah, that was pretty much the introduction of the naval units.
There's one more here though.
And that is
ああ、
probably
今
like the
別の攻略サイトも見てるんですけど、移動後に攻撃が可能になったって書いてあります。
There is the
攻
carry.
撃力が減った代わりに、射程が1マス減って5マスになった代わりに、移動後に攻撃が可能になったので、あらゆるユニットに強くなっ
Dual
た。
strike, they were ranged. So they had the same range properties as the other units back then.
で、価格もなんか2万5000になって、価格も安くなってっていう話らしいんですけれども、ま
But it can also create one of the
あ、残念ながら僕はこのゲームをやったことはないので、この強さはコメントの有識の方にお任せします。
European version.
まあでもどう考えても移動後に5マス攻撃で殴ってくるのやばいっていう話ですね。
as well.
移動力5なんで、
So what those
すごい速度で駆け回っていって遠距離がぶち抜いていくのはもう本当勘弁してほしいって感じになりますね。
very strong. They can also attack air units, right?
Yep.
So they're very strong. They're also very cost effective. The only disadvantage they have only 20 fuel, and again, every unit consumes at least like 1 fuel. Some of them consume 2, 3, or 5, depending on where they are. And in this mission, there is a little gimmick that we didn't really notice. So there is a character called Sigismundo, and he's pretty much like our overseer for this entire mission. He's basically telling us, yeah, you have to do this, and certain units then cannot move. And there is a chance that a specific unit cannot move and completely destroy
ま
our
あ
plan to
先
capturing
ほ
it.
どから
And if that happens, we
都市
basically
占領で1日1000円とか
there is
だから
no way to predict that
本
it is,
当に金がかかって仕方がないところなんだけど、まあ今やってるのは RTA なので必要な分というよりもある分でどれだけ効率よく倒せるかを
Yeah, also you at least
突き詰めて詰め将棋はもうこれチャート作る作業で多分ほとんど話終わってると思うんで
mission, I would say, in the entire game.
練り込まれたチャートで
The commander of
強引に突破していくっていう感じですかね。
Oh yeah, about the story. I guess I can tell that right now. So there's basically 3 factions in the entire game, right? There's the Brenner's Wolves, the NRA, and the Lazurian. And we're playing from the view of Will or Ed, if you play the European version, which I don't know how they got this name.
画面情報あるんですけど早すぎてわかんないですね。
Picked up by the Brenner's Wolves, and they're trying to survive because, as you may have noticed, like the tone of this game is very, very dark. And the reason for that is, prior to this game, there was a meteor rain all over the Earth, and it wiped 90% of the entire population. And the last 10% are basically just trying to survive. So our objective for this entire game is either to find a way to make like Earth a livable place again, and the reason why that is, there is the entire world is like shrouded by a giant cloud, and then there is and since like there's also resource management going on with
壊したら
a lot of fights happening.
ラインみたいなの消えた、バリアみたいなのが消えたな。
Oh, what happened?
おーっと、
I my input didn't go off. I
Oh.
was supposed to target the rocket, but it didn't work.
Ah,
out.
that's unfortunate.
Let's you have more time to explain the plot,
ちょっと
right?
やっちまったらしいんで、やり直しですね。
The first part, which is like the first 10 missions, the Brennus Wolves, which is like a small part of an army, basically, I think it's a battalion. They're trying to find like a place where they can live, and then 1 year later, there was like they had to find a new place because
やっちまったらしいんですけれども、もう何がやっちまったのか早すぎて分かりませんね。
Now they're fighting the Luzurian army with the help of the NRA, and the NRA is basically like this huge. It's like a really huge army of like pretty much like the strongest army I think in the entire game. And we're basically like joining together so we can wipe out the Lazurian army. However, this is pretty much like the final battle that we do with them.
乱数とかじゃないんでしょうね。普通に本当にミスなんだと思います。多分乱数からのところは全部クイックセーブかけてる感じなんで。
I would say like a fight of life and death.
多分普通に攻撃対象ミスか移動ミスか。
Skirmish because the leader is like a very proud commander itself, and
早すぎて何も分かんないですけど。
now, what we're going to do here is we're just trying to move upwards, and there is like a very important choke point where legrandgrand just
移動かな？
actually,
いや
passed through. There is a barrier which prevents units from walking through it, so even like flying units can get past that. And in order to destroy the barrier, there's two ends, and if you destroy either one,
肉壁を作りますからの
and again,
綺麗な
trying
部分
to
ですね。
rush through it, the enemy cannot really build up the choke point really well, so we can just rush in and
壁にする気満々だもんな。
Yeah, if you played that game casually, this mission probably took you like 20 to 25 days.
Okay, ですね。
It takes forever to get through the choke point, but
Mhm.
6 days.
Okay, so story-wise, what exactly happened? So we did defeat the Lazurian army, and they are actually getting executed for their crimes that they did by the NRA. Of course, our battalion really didn't like that, and now we're all trying to escape, including the leaders of the Lazurian army.
そうですね。首都は落とせたので問題ありませんですね。
One unfortunately didn't make it. So what we're trying again now we're just escaping, and this is one also very specific mission that
なるほど。入力も俺、まあ、早いから抜けちゃったとか十分ありますね。
And we have to get them to escape point. Either just one of them is fine. And also there is a unit that you may have noticed that didn't move at all, and it also has a little symbol on the bottom left. That is the commander unit. In that case, it's Brenner actually in there, and he just decided to not move because
メテオ
as
だ
you
か
may
ら
have。noticed, like the enemy starts with like anti-tanks.
いや、メテオなのはわかるんだが。
and he can also like build quite a lot of them. And at this point, like we're just trying to run away, and yeah, so we just have to destroy.
そうですね。プレイヤーが操作してるのは赤いやつで、なんか左側進んでいく。ああ、そこに
But yeah,
占領しなきゃいけないポイントは竜軍都市にクリア。なるほど。
Yeah, maybe like 1 or 2. Okay, no, definitely 2 because I
Yep.
missed that range.
yep.
Sounds good. Currently, we actually don't have any donations to read, but I do want to quickly remind everyone we are only
今回は黄色側が攻めてきてるので、黄色が敵なんでしょうね。
$30,000. So I definitely think we can make that during this run. So make sure to get those donations in. We have a lot of good things to put that money towards. Specifically, the
英語の方はストーリーの解説をちょっとしてくれてたんですけれども、ちょっと僕にそこまでのね、能力がないの、それを訳しているだけの能力がないんで。
So we're at like it's about 64. So you can get your money in, put that towards that. We also have two.
皆様の敵にこのゲームに詳しい有識の方がいらっしゃいましたら。
Which were pretty close on both of them, as well as the alien isolation upgrade difficulty from novice to nightmare. We're about
コメント等で補足いただけ、
it's all going to a good cause.
補足いただければと思います。で、クイックセーブ入りましたね。
Goals met.
So this mission is going to go really quickly because it's already nearly
さ
done.
っきまで青いのと結構戦ってましたけど、こ
essentially
こから
what
黄色いの
you-
戦うことになるん
so
ですか
what
ね。
will happen is like the 12th battalion is no longer with a leader, and so basically that's why you don't hear like any CO's music at this point. And then supposedly like will jump in as the new leader.
で、とりあえずどれだけ赤いとも、
That will not
首都
happen.
HQ を
Yes, we're
占領できたので
still
問題ありませんですね。
changing the story in that case.
You already didn't save the girl in the room, so. Like, fine.
Which is lore-wise like it's basically just like another subplot of like this girl that has like no origin or like no recollection of her past, and she randomly blabbers certain things or codes, and somehow that helps our army out by quite a lot. For example, this thing, she all of a sudden remembers, oh yeah, by the way, there is this weak spot that we can actually do. Because in the middle there is this building which normally would shoot at us if we put any unit in the
なんか
in a
黄色はもともと
specific
同
range. I
じ。
think it's like
な
4
る
or 5 ranges. So it's so like we try to not put anything in, and we have to destroy this one weak spot. The thing is, we cannot do that yet because there is a bunch of units guarding it. Also, there
There
is
were.
there
こ
were
うね、
okay.
重厚なストーリーがあるみたいなんですけれども、
That was so
いかんせんストーリーを解説してる肥料が少ないのと、日本、てか単純に日本語資料が少ない。
should be done explaining that it's already finished.
I'm sorry, I'm going too fast.
Yeah, but honestly, that's I
I'm
think,
not.
it's fine. Don't worry too much about it. Okay.
おっと、ああ、持ってきましたね。
Capture is back. I don't
Yeah.
know what happened to the computer. It's fine.
Oops.
Don't move anymore.
あーちょっと祈りが足りないかもしれない。
Tech, help.
Tech.
It's
Seems
fine.
like
It
we're
was in
good.
me phase.
Okay. I guess I will just
とりあえず続けます。
what just happened. Besides the
ちょっ
black
と
guys, that was
キャプチャーの接触が悪いみたいですね。
so
Wait,
there's
blame tech.
yes. So there is a unit that you may have seen like with this little symbol. Usually there's like 4 different symbols. There's like a 1, a 2, and then a V or an A depending on what version of the game you play. And also like a little badge of honor or like a little medal of honor. And the little medal of honor is basically your CO unit. It gets increased damage depending on what CO you're playing. And also there is a little zone that you can see like
う
right
ー
around
ん
it.
多分海外解説は
Gets the bonus.
地形補正に関する説明かな。
And in order to increase that, or increase that zone, as you can see on the top screen there, or in your on the left screen, there is a bar that gradually fills up if you destroy or damage a unit with either the CO unit or like a unit surrounding it, depending if it's in the zone. And what this can actually get us to our CO powers, but it is not really a thing in this game at all. Because usually like the passive bonus that CO unit provides with the
赤の黒い枠を出してる戦車を動かしたらっていうのが
will also not be used for the entirety of the run.
What are you doing down there? Get back.
Okay, so this mission is actually purely improvised except for the very first turn. So the very first turn, what you have to do is you have to go to the command center, which is just a small little building. This usually increases your damage by like 5%. In this specific missions, you have to do that.
微妙に何が起こったのか分かんなかったけど、微妙に何らかのものがありましたね。なんだろう。
So another subplot actually happening. Now we're basically finding a cult that somehow mostly just have infantry units that are weakened. And also a war tank that has like no munition left. And this also introduces us to the missile silos. And how missile silos work is you can go with it to a unit. You can shoot it with any infantry
ミサイルすごいな。
if you want. And everything in that zone will take 3 damage, including your own unit if there is anything in there. And
地形
yep.
地形というか、まあ設
I
備
think
で
this
す
is
ね。
actually like lore related.
一回的に狙ったところに範囲3ダメを打て
They're,
る。
they're called, you know,
いや、強い。あ、これ、今、言いましたね。
definitely didn't happen
プレイヤーも打ってますね。
in games. And another thing that we have to tell is about the missile.
火力出るな。
The enemies actually utilize the missile. So they don't look at like where like most of
They-
the units are. They actually calculate how much damage each position of the missile will do.
ミサイルで
So
飛ばしてから
sometimes they will just attack a bunch of infantries if that's like
占領頑張るみたいな感じですか？
sometimes they will just shoot at a
ああ、
single
占領が行きましたね。
tank. And then there is like other instances where like
いや
infantry
計算されてるな。
targeted more than like a bunch of tanks up together. And
Where's the worst
yeah.
mission?
Oh yeah, this is the worst mission. Okay, see. Dude, you're just going too fast. Okay, so this is a very infamous mission in pretty much like the entire Advanced Wars community. It's Wait on Flies Again. And
Or
or counterattack. Yeah, I think Wait on Flies Again is just way better as a name.
Yep.
So we're basically fighting one of the commands called Waylon, and he's a defensive specialist, mostly defensive air specialist. And that can be a little bit of a problem. Because so there are certain damage rules that we
画面右側からやってくる敵に対して対応するみたいなミッションなんでしょうが、
Yep. So, so as you can see, like he will just go really aggressive with his interceptors.
なんかクソやって言ってたんで、なんかここきついんでしょうね。
Not really.
Save. Almost didn't save.
おー
Those intercepts at this point
難しいんですね。
Also, we have to.
難しいというか、祈らないといけないとか多いんですね、これ。
Perfect. Okay.
いけた。いけたっぽい。
My God.
雰囲気的にはいけたらしいということの。
Okay, so yeah, this map really involves quite a lot of RNG simply just for those two damage rolls alone. And if you don't get either one of them, like you have to basically just reset at this point. And if you do like a wrong move in this one, that's something that you really don't want to do.
Yes, the movement is quite cryptic, but there is a point to all of them because it manipulates the AI to do the correct things.
Okay, so here's the thing that legrandgrand just did. So he put a CO tag on one of his units because on the other ones they were like previously deployed. You can put it on any unit you want, preferably on one unit that you are like an advantage of. And for the interceptor, in that case, it is pretty good because again, Waylon is an air specialist in that case, and
はいはい。非常に、まあ、
there's like
対空攻撃は対空を持ってないと撃てないよっていう話ですね。で、
he could attack into ours and
空対空にはやっぱ戦闘機が強いよねっていう。
unit. We get the maximized attack and defense bonus, so he will just avoid us, which is good. And
で、これは、あれですか、残りでフラグを、残りで司令部を踏みに行くタイプですか？
Yeah. So the thing is with this game, the AI will try to run away from your unit if they feel like they will take too much damage compared to the damage they would deal. Even though like if you use multiple units at the same time, that would just
押しましたね。
every strategy. That's a weak point that we're going to abuse throughout this run, and that's the one that we mostly use here, making the interceptor just never reach anything.
Also, yeah, he built anti-airs, but
で、あと残りは本部を踏んで、
certain
肉壁で守ると。
move order. As you may have noticed, usually the first thing that we'll try to do is either try to capture buildings, and then it's usually like anti-airs, then air units, and then so on and so forth. But and that's also
教習隊がほぼ全滅仕掛けましたが、本部を占領したので問題ありませんと。
We're starting the very beefy missions now.
so pretty much Wait on Flies Again is pretty much like the gate to like the actual hard missions in the entire game. Lynn's Gambit, which is also I think like the last Fog of War mission that we're going to do. That is mostly going to be a naval battle, even though we have a couple of ground units, but like the ground pathway is like pretty sturdy, so what we're just doing, we're using all of our naval units to move up to the north.
ここもなんか難しいらしいんですけれども。
And we're essentially just setting up the submarines that they will run into us at one point. Because again, the AI actually doesn't know where these submarines are when they're
ああ、キリマップですね。
we actually abuse that, so they run into us and then we can just retaliate with all of our other units.
On top of that, oh wait, I forgot half of my army. This mission has a lot of things going on.
ダメみたいですね。
That, like the AI doesn't actually have any cruiser at the start of the map, so we can abuse that pretty well. And so that's why, like, despite the very big money advantage in terms of troops. We're actually going to be able to destroy the navy in front of us.
Yeah, I think you have now some time to read donations. At least like 2 or 3.
For sure. We got $25 from Arnold Swando.
ダメみたいですね。
No comment and didn't put it towards anything, but thank you so very much.
なんかそんな感じですよね。敵の位置がなんか必要な場所に来てもらわないといけない感じですかね。で、キリマップだから分かんなくて寄ってみないと。敵の映画がどういう風に設定されてるかによって分かんないですけどね。
Restore hope through the unique power of a wish. Make sure to get your donations in for that good cause.
Focus.
I think the gambit is not just working out for you, right?
I just yeah. Hard.
I mean, that's essentially story-wise, it is also called Lynn's Gambit. There is another thing going on with.
もしかして視界に入れないと動かないとか、動いているゲートも視界に入れてから寄り始めるとか、そうじゃない時のランダムパターンとかなんですかね。いや、もうちょっとその辺はゲームの仕様がわからないんで、あれなんですけども、なんかパターンを引きたいっていう感じの動きをしてますね。
Eaten by flowers. This game is pretty nice, pretty friendly, right?
Yeah. I mean, in comparison, like again to the other Advance Wars games, it's like kind of not subtle with like killing off characters and like stuff, which
I'm comparing dice to a nuclear bomb as well. Like what?
Honestly, I feel like in my personal opinion, I think that's a change that I do actually welcome, even though like it is.
さっきより進んだからいけたってことかな。
I wouldn't say it's like controversial, but it looks like so completely different with everything. And yeah, they did try like a lot of new things with this game. And I mean, not only like from the art style, from the story's perspective, also for like the balancing purposes.
ああ、セーブをした。
Because previously, like in the other games, they didn't really do that much changes, except for like certain units get one more movement, one more range.
Or set up some very broken gimmicks as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, stealth bombers, that was a mistake in a dual strike. Battlecopters are also like extremely strong in pretty much like most of the earlier games. In this one, they're alright, but like, not absolutely game breaking.
Oops.
Okay.
Can I save this? No.
なんか強いユニットが存在するけれども、なんかだからうまく手順を踏むことによってスルーすることができますみたいな説明でしたね。現地解説。なんか、だからなんかさっきまで怪しい動きを繰り広げたってことなんでしょうね。
That's funny. Like at the end, there's just a single rocket, and yeah, he's just chilling.
で、いやまあでもうまくいきましたね。
I think it might.
Okay.
Oh!
No! What are you doing? Okay, we're gonna have to reload. So if you've got anything you want to mention,
Yeah.
いやー。
Oh yeah. Oh, now okay. Now he just okay. Now he just spawns.
運が悪かったですねっていうパターンじゃないかな。ちょっとよくしないパターンでしたね、今のは。で、まあさっきのセットアップからやり直しですね。
Depending on whatever happens. So it can be difficult to figure out exactly what to do.
Yeah, especially like in a Fog of War map where most of the time you don't have like any.
いやー辛そう。難しいステージって言ってただけあって辛そう。
Can be like a little bit troublesome. So like I don't blame you like if messing up a couple of times. Like again, at least like that's how I would learn the game. Like I would usually like just learn how like first of all like where the units should usually be at the end of the turn, and then usually like you would practice like each and every movement by its own, and then if there is like any random patterns, then you kind of have to adjust to that. And this game unfortunately has quite a lot of it, especially like in the later missions. But oh boy, okay, but we should be done, right? Looks.
It's yeah, like that's fine right now.
Okay.
Should be. I'm scared now. There's nothing in range, right? Not going to save, just to make sure.
Maybe the war tank?
It's not. In
Oh no, that's good. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, they only have 4 movement. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's good. Okay.
And thank you. This was
抜けた抜けたよかったよかった。
the hardest portion of the game.
Okay.
いや、ここが一番の難所だっていうことなんで、いや、まあその後はね、
you may have
い
noticed
ける
there's a
と。
big
そしたらなんかもしかしたら巻くんとか巻かないとかもある。タイムがここで大幅にずれやすいとかなんか。
Oh yeah, sorry Wes. At this point, we defeated the NRA now. We defeated their leader, and now there is a secret fourth faction that was actually in the game or like in the story for a while, but they really didn't do much except for like one mission where we had to destroy this building in the middle, and they were just testing out some stuff, you know, as all evil dudes just do. So these are the intelligent defense systems, or short for IDS. Also, it's like a they're pretty much like the fourth faction. They are just funding each like every other's armies with their weapons.
いやでも分かりやすい勝ち合いみたいな
resource amount
マップですけど。
And what they did in the meantime is they did build the Pulsatrix, which is this huge ship. And on every
Oi.
it will drop a bomb that is 4 ranges wide. Unlike in the missions from the previous games, the enemies didn't really think about like putting like a protective shield onto their units. So
ただなんか
they
こ
get hit by their own weapons. And that's why
う下の方に固めて
them into the middle, which they
なん
will
とか防護したいという
they completely
感じが。
ignore this zone at all. So there will be like another heavy tank, an artillery that take 5 damage, and that does do quite a lot.
それマップギミックとして最後に爆弾飛んでくる
You
の。
could capture the HQ in this map, but it is not faster at all. It is just straight up better to route the entire map. And what we're again, since we're baiting all the units into the center, our main goal for this mission is to capture the airport on the top.
で爆弾が
Then
直
we
撃する
will
から
build bombers. Yeah, we will build bombers to
真ん中を避けて
send, middle
っていう
enemies in the top right, because those will
お
not move
い
at all.
だいぶだな。
So
From now it's improv time.
ワイターは痛そうだ。
yeah, the CEO unit is a little bit scary actually on the heavy tank.
Yeah, do that. Then do this. And then do this.
で下回りから
Fine. It's going to stay alive first.
Really?
Yeah, that sure. You can
道を切り開いていくのかな。で爆
I
撃
think
作って
it
ます
should
ね。
work out. Okay, I'll lose that. That's fine. As long as I keep my CO. So my CO has a lot of gold right now, so it's really.
邪悪
strong. It boosts
ハワイは
from
邪悪な
that,
敵集団のところが 目標なんですか。
Very, very good. Okay, I'm going to set up a safety save because I can
さあセーフティーセーブ。
hear whatever happens.
Okay, so there was this anti-air unit on the bottom left, and that was very important that he had to destroy them, because there's also a factory that we actually have to deal with. But otherwise, like, the enemy can just pump out as many units as possible, and like, we will not be able to...
右上の
I mean, eventually we would, but
うじゃうじゃ溜まってるところにあるんですよね。
decide
Tab.
to just rush for this specific factory.
Yeah, now we really just have to take care of the HQ, and as you can see, it's pretty well defended. Also, 10th Infantry is totally going to capture this city, trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Out of
I think like you should be able to take care of the CO unit, yeah.
CO is gone.
That's very good. So what happens with the CO unit if it dies? The
ちょ
bar
はちょっと
goes completely empty, and he has to assign a new unit to it, which he can do.
今までは占領ではあったけれど
That hurts.
Ooh. Whoa, okay.
It's still at 1 HP. I still has a zone.
Yeah.
That should help, like, 1 unit. You are in range, but that's
うー
fine.
ん
Good. I got you. Let's go.
そこっぽいですよね。
Bombers deployed, and most of the anti-air units are pretty much gone. So we can just like overwhelm them with just bombers, and then.
What is that?
最初から動かない対戦車が
Okay.
対戦車とロケット砲で固められてる。さすがにきつい。
I'll do bomber.
Should be good, yeah.
さてまた爆撃機を生産して、
Is at 3 HP is not able to deal much damage to
Yeah.
my bombers, so I can.
Also, don't forget he built an anti-air.
Yep. Can I? Yeah. I don't have the firepower.
That's not great.
I have the firepower.
Oh, okay.
There's always a way.
Okay, so now we block the other factory, and at this point, like, there should be no way to come back. If we just like
You're just gonna chill.
have enough fuel for the bombers.
Eventually, I'll take care of this infantry. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I think I'm just.
But
gonna
your
send that 20
copter is going to be also like in quite a
Let's
difficult.
go.
工場の上に置い
You
て、
really had to do it, though, nah?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, at one point you have to.
工場の上にユニットを置いて湧き潰しとかもしてる。
So, oh yeah, there are those units called anti-tanks. Fun fact: anti-tanks can actually attack copters, which how? But it somehow works.
A copter is a tank. That works, right?
No.
That's how
Yeah. It's a flying tank. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
小ネタで、
actually.
Fancy kill.
小ネタ披露が始まりましたけども。
The best way to deal with anti-tanks is actually to use infantries and mechs
Mhm.
because
これ
like
どうやってやってんのみたいな話が始まりました。
But yeah, that was the hardest map of the game. Now it's going to be a lot more scripted.
Mhm.
Uh,
So, the same gimmick actually applies with the pulsar tricks. Now you don't see it at this point. However, this pulsar tricks is essentially a missile silo now. So he will try to shoot at like the most cost-effective group of units as they can. So that's why we actually have to put them all.
川なんだか海なんだかを挟んでの戦い
But
ですが、
we're trying to do a sneaky capture from the top side, and in order to do that, we have to fire all of those missile silos on the top right and on the top left and the bottom right.
ミサイ
But
ルを
yeah, I
取り
think
に
like
行
if you
っ
have
て
time, you can also read some donations or.
ミサイルサイロからの相手と攻撃でなんとかするみたいな感じみたいですね。おー
Is this a good time?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have $40 from Neflin saying, good luck with the rest of this impressive run. And remember, the mayor did nothing wrong. that goes,
Nah.
that goes towards
Yeah,
both,
見直しですね。
an ESA winter shirt, one of
な
our shirts from the
ミサイ
event.
ルの見ないがずれ
Also,
たんなんかそんな気がしますよね。
on remaster difficulty. So taking advantage of the double use of that donation, very nice. We also
なんか
have
当たりどこが悪かったっ
donation with no
ていう感じなんです。
comments. So yeah, back to you.
The major did not wrong. Oh my god, he's actually like involved too.
まあこの速度で操作してたらずれますよね、多少は。
I mean, yeah, lore is actually not really that super important for Advance Wars games in general. Most of
Ah,
them just
一個下でしたね。
yeah, you invaded, so yeah, we start war and blah 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 blah. Like, and then like all the wacky stuff happens.
And they did try to do something like actually interesting in this game, unlike the other ones, which is very much just an excuse to make maps. But yeah, like
Yeah, by wiping out 90% of the population. Duh. I mean, I mean it's a little bit over the top. Let's be real.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a giant bomber that does that.
Yeah.
あのかかるポイントひどすぎやろ。
That's not the last time that we actually see this bomber because we actually have to take it out somehow, right?
Yeah.
規定単位になったら爆撃が開始。まあ超痛い火力攻撃が飛んでくるんで、で、一定単位が怪我するとなくなるので攻略開始。で、戦略としては、輸送船、そうですね、輸送船が
We have reached
上に
$30,000 for the
使
Make-A-Wish
って輸送船でまた戦量を踏むっていう。今ドネーションが3万超えましたよっていう。
Seriously.
めちゃくちゃ爆撃で焼かれてるけどな。
Okay, so essentially we've almost set up everything that we can actually invade from the top side. And there's like there's one more silo left on the bottom right, and then again. Now we're so what we're
爆
essentially
撃
doing
が
with
こ
those
う、
vendors
あ
is
あ、だから、
taking units,
ハイバリューターゲッ
there so
ト
that
に向かって
the
撃つから
actually go
固めておく
for
と、
those units on the
I forgot.
横の HQ ダッシュ部隊みたいなやつは踏まれにくいんですね。
I forgot a cruiser, so now, yeah.
うーん。
Two more shop. Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed the start of this map because we're doing it again.
Yep. Great. But like this map can also again.
これあれですかね。焼かれ方の運が悪かったとかなんですかね。
Everything will go wrong. So.
配置がずれたのかな。
But yeah, that's how Advance Wars is.
そうか。
That's how it is.
This map, the main problem with this map is
ちょ
that
っと予期せぬ爆撃が食ってきた感じがしましたけれども、まあ、気を取り直して再度挑戦といったところでしょう
the
か
main。problem with this map is that you have to play in all four corners at the same time, so it's easy to forget one corner. I kinda did.
Okay, let's be real. You're just doing it so you can hear the banger theme, right? Not this one. The I think like what is her name? Tabithia, right?
Yeah.
Or Larissa in the European version. Again. So yeah. Starting from Advance Wars Dual Strike, the intelligence systems did a really weird thing where like they changed a lot of names of pretty much most of the missions.
失礼しました。まあこの辺はまた同じ手順を繰り返すところなので。
But again, since this is like a completely new, it's like a completely new plot line.
しかし爆撃範囲本当に広いな。
And it gets a little bit confusing if you're trying to read up on the game because sometimes they refer to the European name, sometimes to the American name, and it's.
でミサイルでダメージって取ってって感じですね。
That is true. Even the game's name is completely different. I mean, the Advance Wars title is still the same, but I think in Europe it's called Dark Conflict and
Days of Friends in the US.
in the US. So
Yeah, it's because actually it was two different studios that made the translations for the game. For some weird reason, good job Nintendo. So yeah, that's why like all the names.
さてこの後のターンが問題。ここまではさっき見ましたので、この後のターンからが問題ですね。
But here's the thing, like some of the some of the mission names are completely different. Like again, Lynn's Gambit and Counterattack, completely different. No, completely different. Like I don't know what they did there with this game specifically. So.
Okay, we're back to where we were earlier, and so now this time I regrouped enough units to lose the bottom left, so that like the bomber should actually target down there.
Very good. Okay.
いや、オッケーオッケーオッケー。誘導通り当たりましたね。
Still not over yet.
移動漏れかな。
One more.
で、
Okay. So now,
よしよしよしよし。で、もう一回ミサイル撃って、
we're just attacking the tank and then we unload the bike and the anti-tank. And
で無事上陸に成功しましたと。
but most of the units are already out of reach, so they can't really defend it properly anymore.
And I still have two more missiles to deal with the two last tanks that are
爆撃はやめましたか
So I
ね。
capture the HQ and I win.
Finally.
こっちはミサイルサイルで相手を遠隔から焼き続けると。
Yeah, you usually just get all your army wiped out and then slowly try to crawl and finish the map. But
さあ、ちゃんと組めた。
make some good
よしよしよしよしよし。
She's pretty much like one of the most broken units.
多分残り EST 的には10分なので、
She
まあ、ぼちぼち
essentially like
終わりになるのかなと思いますけど、はい、取りましたね。
And she shots without any zone
RTA、かなりシビアな動きを要求されてますね。美しいチャートですね。チャート作りで全てができる。
The zone gets bigger, therefore like more units will actually like get double the
このマップ何って感じなんですけど。
inside the plane. How that happened, I don't know actually.
we sneaked in. That's
Yeah.
it.
We sneaked in with tanks.
一体この配置はどういう
Don't question it.
配置なんですかね。
That's not. You know, it is what you do.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, so this is the same as the 6th mission where we had to defeat a wave of enemies, but instead we will have to fight off 3 waves. Both of the first 2 waves contain 2 tanks and a medium tank and
なるほど。
3 rockets, right? Something like that.
You'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Super improvised, by the way.
殲滅と増援が来るので、まあ、
First wave is actually like
ま
the most
と
important one,
あの
because
司令部を踏み続ける、踏んで終わりじゃなくて、敵をちゃんと全部倒さないといけないっていうことですね
but。like the variation of units that they have is also really important. So that's why we're systematically trying to destroy a couple of units in a specific way.
う
And it's
ん
also important that we don't let
そうですよね。
enemies
なんか工場も何もないから、
Um,
生産とか何も
and
効か
the
ない。
reason for that is as soon as the last unit is
ストーリー
destroyed,
としてはでかい爆撃機に乗り込んで、ユニットのところ構わず起動したらこうなっちゃった。
the best thing that we can do is we can just destroy everything, put one unit to 1 HP, maybe they fire
なんかある意味何もわかる。
destroy this unit, and now we will have
そうなんですかみたいな話になってま
and
す
since
ね。
like we also did set it up like that they we can just deal with those tanks
なんで
and,
増援ですね。
rockets. They shouldn't do that much.
Okay.
Okay. Also, this mission also you kind of have to improvise a little bit, especially like the beginning part
Oh.
because.
Hurts. Do you not know? Fortunate.
Okay, so now we got.
I don't know how to deal with that tank. You'll have to have fun.
Yeah. The rocket will be fine.
I'm pretty sure it's dead. It's useless anyway.
Yeah. What do you mean? It has 1 HP.
こうして次の増援は速やかに枯れるように移動はしておいて、
1 HP unit in Fire Emblem is can still do a lot.
Okay, right side is in trouble.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I can see the point. Cause yeah.
yeah, I just don't have any more firepower.
Mhm.
But that's fine. I shouldn't take too much damage from that.
Yeah,
last
I mean,
rocket,
like
right?
you can just put. I think like you can just put
Ah,
like
okay.
1 or 2 tanks over there, and that should be okay. Oh, actually, no, you don't even have to.
Works.
なんかちょっと予期せぬボタン起きてるっぽいけど、クリアしましたね。
All right. So now we destroyed the Pulsatrix, and we're pretty much at the second last mission, and that is another map where you're heavily.
セカンドラストフィッシュだから残り2戦ですね。
Yes.
これとあともう1個かな。
And the whole base.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So what's up with that? At the story point, like we're trying to gather out, trying to collect some
ということ
reinforcements.
で、あと残り2ミッションと終わりが近づいてまいりました。
In into this battlefield. However, they are not ready yet, so we essentially have to wait it out for a little bit. So we're essentially just preparing the main force to arrive, and we are actually trying to capture the HQ as well, because again, there's way too many units to fight, way too many heavy tanks. So yeah, and by what we're trying to do, there's a airport on the bottom
で、
that we will try to capture. Even though there's still bombers on the bottom side of the map as well, but
相変わらず激しいマップですけど、
they will do too much. Because sometimes they will just try
敵の
to
数
go
多いな。
for
てか
like
敵のターン長いな。
destroyed, such as the barriers. So see, as you can see, not even we're abusing this, even like the enemies will just go for it.
Will is back.
Mm.
We will survive.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we are now way stronger than them actually at this point. It looks like very intimidating at first.
で、ターンになると
But
味方
when
増
you
援が
think
来る
about
から
like
攻
the
略を開始す
composition
る。
of their army, they have
最初は耐え
six
て、
heavy tanks,
そこからっ
3 bombers,
ていう感じ
and
なんですね。
a couple of one or two
ねすげえな。
But honestly, like you can just deal
大
with
型
it
戦車の
by
腕をなしてやってきたんですけど、
building interceptors. That will definitely take care of most of the air units, and the heavy tanks you can just build bombers.
ただ、まあそんなことは関係なさそうなムーブを上でしてますね。
And we're mostly going to abuse the fact that the AI is going to be scared of a full HP bomber. Here, so bomber first. That.
And even at the point where they could build an anti-air, it's either out of range, so they don't really bother with it. And again, since they are scared of the
とりあえずめちゃくちゃ
bomber
迫
at
っ
all,
てきているけれども、それはそれとして。
well, like it does a lot of damage to the anti-air. I mean, the anti-air also retaliates, but the bomber also outranges it, so it will essentially try to run away from it.
If you get the first hit on an anti-air, it takes like 8 HP of damage, so it's completely worthless. Even though you take like 2 HP of damage, it's still like a pretty okay trade strategically. Okay, that's new. Well, we have to reload.
それはだよね。輸送ヘリ落ちましたもんね、今。それはあかんな。
Yeah, for sure. We do have one, a very short and to the point comment here from Unfit Parent who donates $40.
工場の生産とかで、相手工場から何が出てくるか多少ブレがやっぱりあるっぽいんで、
That goes towards the Goosebird shirt.
あれね、ガチガチに、まあ、ほとんどガチガチにチャートを守らないといけないけれども、運が悪いと変なところで負けるみたいなところなんですかね。
If you have something more to say, you should probably use this right now.
Yeah,
For sure.
We'll take like about 2 minutes to get to the back where we were.
Yep, I can just mention some stuff that is coming up for what you can put your donations towards. Once again, just a little bit of a reminder. The main ones that are that have yet to be met that are coming up is my Pandora Paradox on remastered difficulty. We do need 1.5 thousand for that. And we are currently only at 100, and so we do need to get that met. So whether it's $5, whether it's 40, make sure you put those donations towards that. The other one that also needs to be met, like I mentioned before, was Alien Isolation for the upgrade difficulty from Novice to Nightmare. We're at 3
手順のやり直しです。
out of 500, so we're over halfway to that one. So that's really awesome. And then other than that, once again, all proceeds, all
そして巻き戻しをしながら、本家の方はフィットコメントを読み上げてくれていると。
This mission is mostly just long because the enemy has so many planes to play bombers.
Yeah,
I'm done.
because like again, since like most of the time that you can lose is actually like you doing misinputs or like doing the movement slowly, but sometimes again because it is not everything is predetermined in this game, they can also do some random extra movements, so yeah, it can happen. Okay, now the interceptor should go for the bomber.
Definitely be fine. I think I might have misplaced the bomber one top because I messed up earlier and I made.
Oh yeah,
like,
on the top right.
it
あ、
was-
悪意機の位置がずれたって言ってますね。
Oh, we are fully safe.
Ah,
Here,
antidote.
here, drops it.
Yeah, so here's the thing, like he just built an
Yeah, almost was that.
interceptor in our base, and we pretty much have like most of our units on the left side are air units, but they cannot attack ground units, which is very good for us. And whatever they're trying to build, it doesn't matter too much.
下ろしたら落ちていいぞ
So
ってそんな感じですね。
just meat shield that the duster on the bottom cannot attack your units.
降りたらもう
Because again,
壁としてしか使われないと。
movement priority is a little bit wonky. So the duster will just attack the bomber. And then the interceptor will go for the kill, but at this point it's already too late. But yeah. And now we just finished.
なんか長いことガチャガチャしてますが、キャプチャーして終わりです。
Yeah.
さあ、最終戦です。
The final mission. Okay.
If you've played this game, you definitely remember this because it's a pain.
It is a big pain. And that's where like our basic strategy comes into the play, where rushing through the mission is just way better than like just turtling it out. Because again, our units are pre-deployed. That's okay. But the thing is, we pretty much have to work with
すごい。
our pre-deployed units at this point. So,
なんこれ
our goal for the mission
なんこれ
that we have to destroy. Three of those
ちょ
are
っとすごいの出てきましたね。
by the heavy tanks, except for the one that just moved away, which is great. And there's also those little bombs.
要塞のコア5つをクリア、破壊するとクリアありがとうございます。
I think it's all random, but it's like
要塞ですね。最後はこれですから。
and what we have to do is we have to get a good damage range here.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, that's definitely good. Okay. That was min-max on the damage rolls. Things can go wrong, but most of the times they don't, and I'm not sure when they don't. So, like, if I get good rolls, then it's fine.
So another thing about these lasers
なんかクソ火力が飛んできてるなと思ったら、
where they
い
fired
や
previously.
クソ火力で投げてきてるんですよ、ここ。
In the next
さ
one, so okay, when it will turn, then it will fire into this direction. So you don't really have to worry too
あ、
much.
難所と言われるところも
Sector cannons that are really important to
RTA
destroy.
プレイヤーにかかれば詰め将、ただの詰め将棋なのか。
We did also capture com towers on the bottom.
Wait, I messed up.
What happened?
I misplayed the mega tank.
Oh.
配置ミスですね。
It's fine. I'll just get a good roll again, right? At this point, I may as well just make sure that we don't have to reset too late. And okay, there we go.
Also, yeah, those lasers have friendly fire, of course, and it's quite funny, like that there is a heavy tank that just stands in the middle and doesn't do anything, which is a good thing because then that's also something that I forgot to mention, but it wasn't really relevant. So, depending if like 2 units are weakened, they can actually join together so that they're now 1 unit again. It is kind of useful if you actually like
さっき配置ずれてたんですね。
extra hit
さっきこの後のレーザーで焼かれてたから。
if you
これですね。
value on your next turn. But usually it's not that big of a deal in the speedrun.
Did that mega tank just die to an infantry?
Yep.
That's funny. Power of com towers.
Yep. Okay, so now then, so we're going to destroy the right laser cannon. That one is like less of an issue, but it's also like the one that is like not reachable at all. And then we're just
ここ壊したかな。
like blocking cannons.
Should have attacked the Forgotter. I didn't realize he was there. It's fine. He's going to run away, right?
これ、
I mean, there's an
これ
interceptor, so it's
あまりにもありだな。
Frick.
that's bad.
ダメですね。
So the,
いや、
here's
し
where
ん
the
ど
delay
そ
is very
う。ほん
important.
まにしんどそう。
Could have maybe taken an extra turn.
No, I don't think so. Like it would snowball kind of out of control at this point. So what? There's a reason why you put this U unit at this corner. So
お祈りが
prepare all of
いかない
those, tanks on the lasers.
まだダメ。
and
3じゃないとダメ
in
だ。
their zone and get the bonus for the damage because you do like
それでも大丈夫なのか
same
な。
damage to infrastructures. There's like no defenses that they have, but again, it depends on your own unit's HP. But yeah, and since like we want to put it on the left side because that's like the fastest way can get to this position. We pretty much sometimes we actually have to move the CO unit first and then attack with the other units last, so we get the extra bonuses from the CO area. Okay.
So my interceptor right now is at low HP, so it can become a problem if the bomber just isn't scared enough. But no, it's fine. Okay, that's what I want to see.
Okay, see now the copter is at 1 HP.
Yeah, it's
And
much better suddenly.
Yep, and at this point there is nothing really threatening.
As the tank is actually going to be scared right there.
Yeah, because we have anti-tank, we have like more tanks ready and available, so it's like, yeah.
わすぎでしょ。
Like,
さて、
nah,
戻ってまいりました。
I don't want to deal with this.
Alright, get ready on time.
でそろそろ終わりということで、
I would just press 2 buttons.
あともう全部
which one it should be.
アタックして終わり
And
Time.
time.
タイマーストップ。GG です。
Oh boy.
グッドゲーム。
Yeah, I had way too many resets, but it's fine. You got to see like how cool this run is.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks further for being on commentary.
まあリセットも多かったけれども、いい走りだった。まあ、よくできた走りだったっていうことで。まあ、ぼちぼちっていう感じかな。っていう。
Thanks for watching. See you all next time.
見てくれてありがとうっていう。はい。
Thank you so much, legrandgrand.
はい、ではただいまのゲームはファミコンウォーズ DS 失われた光、カテゴリー 2% でした。コメントで解説していただいた皆様ありがとうございました。ではですね、光の交代と、次のゲームの準備がございますので、一旦失礼します。皆様、まあ、続きますので、この後も ESA ウィンター楽しんでいただければと思います。それでは一旦失礼します。
I won't be in the dimension, I'll be next to the dimension. I'm hoping I don't get smacked. We'll see how that goes. wouldn't be great. Hoping to admire from a little bit of a distance. But yeah, as we're moving on and setting up for the next run, let's talk about what you guys are actually donating towards. Specifically, where your money is actually going. Would you like to talk about that?
Indeed, indeed. Remember, all your donations at this event go towards Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish has granted more than 550,000 wishes worldwide since 1980, and they also have more than 30,000 volunteers helping grant thousands of wishes each year around the world. They granted nearly 27,000 wishes globally last year, and they grant wishes for children with critical illnesses on 6 continents through 40 international affiliates and 58 chapters in the US alone. So all of your donations, no matter how large or small, go towards Make-A-Wish. And during that last run, I see the total there. We raised over 30,000, 111 for Make-A-Wish. So thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
It's another great milestone, and already moving up to that 40,000 as our next one. So we're already on our way there.
We're doing fantastically well. We're having so much fun. We are raising money for an amazing cause. It couldn't be better, really, could it? It's absolutely fantastic. However, you can also get involved. We do have, when you put your donations in towards Make-A-Wish, some of the different rewards that you can come up with. We have the fantastic...
Oh, backwards.
Yeah, backwards home shirt. If you want your very own Goosebert for your very own $40 donation, make sure you choose the reward when you accept it. Put your details in, and for $40 or more donation, we will send you your very own Goosebert shirt. We also have the ESA shirt. Can't really see it there. There we go. Created by the fantastic Mako Doodles. It always does an amazing job. And we've got those available as well for a $40 donation. In addition to that, what else can we put our money towards, King J?
One of our lovely targets that are coming up as well, which we can't forget about. Once again, I mentioned it near the end of that run. We have some great things for you to put your money towards. Even if you decide to put your money towards the one-time transaction to get one of these shirts, you can also put that same exact money towards these targets as well. Make sure not to forget that. We have two big ones coming up. Once again, my we can be a very